ba gaeso practice ena ya skin lightening ke ntho e bonahala e le mpe mona setjhabeng sa rona. Batho ba bangata ba nana hore batho bana ba sebedisang di-products tsena ke batho ba ile horeng a se ma-Afrika a nnete kapa ha ba ithate. Ba bang ba bona hore ke o ithata ka hore o tloa o bona botle bo o ka bang bona le hore o ka iketsa botle bo batlang ho bo bona wena. Ke a lamola kaofela mo Mzansi ko Talk SA. Jwale ka le tseba ke kgaogelo wa ha monama. Ka jeno lena re tla be re bua ka trend e ya skin lightening e ntse e hola mo setjhabeng sa rona sa South Africa ha dilemo di ntse di tsamaya tjena. Taba ke eo. Ka jeno lena mo Talk SA re bua le anthropologist Dr. Levine. O tlo re fa an overview ya trend ena e holang ya skin lightening mona Mzansi. Ha re fetsa moo re bue le banyana ba i2 ba ile horeng ba na le menahano e sa tshwaneng ha ho tla ho skin lightening, re be re bona le di-products tsena tse sebediswang. Re qetela ka bua le Professor Nonhlanhla Khumalo. O tlo re jwetsa hore batho tshwantse ba hlokomele eng pele ba reka di-products tsena. Re qala ka ho kopana le Dr. Levine, Yale medical social anthropologist analyzing disciplinary project e investigating di-cream tsena tsa skin lightening tse sebediswang mona Afrika. Re batla ho mo botsa hore trend ena e tswa ho kae. Ha se moo ba gaeso re mona fela re fihlile ebile re thabile. Ke dutse le Dr. Susan Levine, Yale social anthropologist. O tlo re jwetsa yena ka trend e ntse e holang ya skin bleaching mona setjhabeng sa rona sa South Africa. Dr. Levine, your field of study and research includes skin bleaching in South Africa. Can you please tell us what your research has revealed so far regarding the trend, where it comes from, specifically in Africa?
Specifically, I'm going to talk about South Africa for the time being.
Okay.
And there's a town in the northern part of the country called Port Nolloth. And there was a chemist on the corner shop, a small pharmacy, that sold a kind of a skin evening tone. It was a cream that was used mostly by white women in Port Nolloth to achieve an even tone on their faces. And there's a historian from the United States who has written about the ways in which her idea is that this cream was then used by women who were working in the homes of these women and applying it to their skin, and found that it had a lightening effect or an evening effect, and started experimenting with these beauty products. And that over time, and bound up with these complex politics of apartheid and racism and self-image and the kind of global consumer culture around lightness, that these creams began to enter into what they call the black market, and not the black market, but and so that was sort of its origin. So it began in the north. It's about the 1950s.
Skin bleaching is not isolated as a South African trend or an African trend only. So may you please tell us more about skin bleaching as a global phenomenon?
Skin lightening is an absolute global phenomenon. The largest consumers of skin lightening products are in China, where the daily application of skin lightener is part of a makeup routine. The beauty aesthetic is bound up with being very pale. And so the practice of skin lightening is something that spans much of the world, but especially in China. In India is the second largest consumer of skin lightening creams. These are both illegal and illegal.
Why would you then say that skin bleaching has become such a popular trend lately?
It's a good question, and it's one that my students are trying to answer. I have a number of students who are asking different questions about lightening. So if one thinks about the surface of the skin as a place of where it's a space of visibility, it's our identity, and so it's connected in these very complex webs of meaning, which can be attributed to media. So if you look at Drum magazine, for instance, Drum magazine from the 1950s was publishing these ads for skin lightening creams. In the 1990s, something shifted. You began to see the disappearance of these ads in Drum magazine, and it coincides with very strong legislation in South Africa which bans all skin lighteners that have been attributed, and there's been research to show that they can cause increased basal cell carcinomas, that's a kind of a skin cancer, infertility, breast cancer. Essentially, when skin lighteners were made illegal in South Africa, the ads shifted from skin lighteners, skin bleaching, to other kinds of more metaphoric languages: even tone, luminescence, brightness, lightness, so that you have a whole different linguistic coding for skin lighteners. So the advertising now is quite coded. So many of the products that everyday consumers purchase on the continent and globally are misleading. And so we need to become acutely aware of the names of products that are linked with lightening and make sure that when we buy products, we read them very carefully so we know what's in them. But currently, most of the skin lightening creams that are available do cause a range of iatrogenic effects, including achromatosis, which is the deadening of the skin cells. Sometimes you'll see women with very, very, very dark patches on their face, and that's where the skin lightening cream has actually killed off the melanin, and so that the skin cannot reproduce, and that's irreversible damage.
Thank you very much, Dr. Levine, for the insightful overview that you've given us and for taking the time to talk to us.
Well, it's only my pleasure.
Papatso re kopana le motho a nang le menahano e fapaneng ha ho tla ho skin lightening.
The term yellow bone has become so, it's a trophy that people carry around.
Jwale he Mbali Dlamini o tlo re jwetsa hore yena hobaneng a sa bone bohlokwa ba di skin lightening products tsena. Re mona ko shawela, re mona fela re fitlile ebile re thabile. Ke tlo bua le ngwanyana ya loreng o motlotlo ka ba a dark skinned girl. Lebitso la hae ke Mbali Dlamini. Mbali, so khona article oyibhalile ku blog yakho besacela ukuthi usitshele ngayo kabanzi I Dear Dark Skinned Beauty.
I-article yami ngathi mangiyibhala, we had actually besine topic around the office about abantu abamhlophe versus dark skinned, and I got the inspiration ukuthi ngibhale. It was almost like an open letter to every other dark skinned woman out there. Ngababhalela this article which basically was saying is ukuthi umuhle the way ungakhona, the world inama stereotypes and things that they believe ukuthi umuntu makamuhle, they are characterized by 1, 2 and 3, and just because you are dark skinned, your insecurities afana nje nama insecurities wa any other woman and any other person who's living. You do not need to feel like ubu dark skin bakho is some sort of a curse. People tease you, you are bullied for it.
So wena ucabangani ngabantu abasebenzisa ama products ukuthi bayenza isikhumba sabo sibe a bit lighter? Why ucabanga ukuthi abantu kahle kahle baze bahamba leyo route yokuthi basebenzise lawo ma products?
I think ukuthi it boils down to a confidence thing. Mangabe ukhule nayo leyo nto leyo kunabantu abakutshela ukuthi mawumnyama awukho muhle, then you grow up wanting to change yourself so much because ufuna ukufita into what society deems as beautiful, you know. So abantu, they feel like they are left without a choice but to change their outside in order to be happy on the inside. You know, people taking amapilisi, ugcobisa ama creams ongawazi nokuthi bawafakeni ngaphakathi, you know, because people are not accepting of you as a person, you know. The term yellow bone has become so, it's a trophy that people carry around, you know. At some point in my life, I know when my son was born, who is about 10 shades lighter than me, I remember a person said to me, wow, mntana ko muhle kanjani, umhlophe, you are so lucky. Almost like, I'm not lucky that my son is healthy, but I'm lucky because umhlophe. At least he's got a better life now ahead of him because he is lighter skinned.
Ungasho wena ukuthi mhlambe ku un-African for umuntu ukuthi asebenzise lawo ma products ukuze ukuthi naye akwazi ukuthi abe ama shades a lighter nyana kunale shade abakuyo manje.
Well, kuzofanele sidefine aqala ukuthi what is an African and what determines a person ukuthi angabi abe un-African. You know, I feel we all change our appearance in any form of way. And umuntu uzochoose ukuyenza skin lightening if you have the right research behind you. Mina ngisumuntu ostracize or sicekele phansi for ukuthi uyenze leyo decision. In as much as umuntu overweight, uyayenza decision yokuthi ahamba ejimini to change their exterior because it's something that will make them bajabule bona ngaphakathi.
Manje angazi ukuthi wena ukhule ku endaweni enjani, kodwa ke endaweni eziningi masikhula besingazizwa indaba zokuthi khona ama products ayenza umuntu ukuthi mhlambe abe a bit lighter. If wena bowuzwile ngicela ungitshela ukuthi ku journey yakho yokukhula uke wacabanga ukuthi wasebenzise na?
Ngisasemncane because I didn't understand myself. I did pass isikhathi lapho bengifila ukuthi maybe if I was lighter, people bebazongithanda more, abantu bebazong-accepta more, but getting to know myself more and getting to ukuthi understand is ukuthi mangena in a room, I command attention. So they were able to instill that thing. It's either you take that attention and you make it a good thing or a bad thing. And I was able to build myself from the inside out and say, okay, if abantu bazongibheka, then I'll give them something to look at. I'll be proud of who I am and ngizoba happy ukuthi this is what I look like. And there's nothing you can say about my dark skin that I don't know. Ngiphile kuyo in my whole life. I know all the jokes you can come and say. I know all the bad things you can say. I can teach you a thing or two about dark skin. And I always make jokes with my friends and say, because I'm so dark skinned, I absorb all the heat. That's why ninaningashi and all of that. And my friends think that it's funny. But for me, it's one of those things, there's nothing you can say to bring me down about the way that I look. And where you accept the person that you are and you're able to uziphe more to other people.
Sibonge kakhulu Mbali ukuthi usiphe isikhathi sakho namhlanje nokuthi sikwazi ukukhuluma nawe and ngiyathemba ukuthi uzomotivate abantombazana abaningi abakulesimo lesibokuso mawukhula nokuthi uba empower futhi.
Thank you.
Jwale re tshakela Thando a tlo kgona ho re jwetsa hore yena hobaneng a rata ho sebedisa di skin lightening products. Re bua le Thando Ndlovu ka jeno lena o tlo re jwetsa yena ka di skin lightening products tsa di berekisang le hore di mo thusa jwang na. Thando besacela usitshele ngalama products owasebenzisayo ukuthi so nesikhathi esingakanani owasebenzisa.
I've been using them for 1 year and some months manje. Yeah, and I started ngama products ahlukile until ngithola eyodwa engithandayo.
Yini into eyenza ukuthi uqale usebenzise lama products?
It was because of other side you thought being a little bit of dark, then the other side I'm more lighter. So I just wanted tone A1.
So Thando njengoba usebenzisa lama products lawo ingabe uzizwa ukuthi akenza ukuthi ube muhle ukudlula ekuqaleni?
Yes, you're more beautiful than before. Because there's a difference now more begin entombeni zakho zakudala than you compare to manje. Yeah, I see myself more beautiful and confident.
Awusitshele Thando ukuthi lama products atholakala kuphi wena wakho uwathenga kuphi?
I've got a skin doctor, but she's from Nigeria. So normally nguyena onyenzela lama creams. Yeah.
So Thando ingabe unabo abanye abangani nabo abasebenzisa ama skin lightening products?
Yes, I do.
Isizathu sabangani bakho ingabe sifana nesakho sokuthi basebenzisa ama skin lightening products?
Others bafuna ukuba mhlophe, then abanye just for the sake of being beautiful.
Umbuzo ogcina esinawo ukuthi ucabangani ngalabantu laba abanama negative opinions mhlawumbe imibono engathi ihlukile kunani ngeindaba zema skin lightening?
I think it's because some they think ukuthi maybe we don't appreciate ukuthi uNkulunkulu usidale kanjani.
Jwale ka ha re qeta ho kopana le banyana ba ithu bana leng menahano e fapaneng ha ho tla ho skin lightening. Re lo bona di products tsena tse sebediswang. Re phete re kopane le Neo Muthiba, monga the Yellow Bone Factory. Hasimo heba khaeso se re fitlile mo ko the Yellow Bone Factory. Neo ne re kopa re jwetse ka company e o inahanne jwang idea ya ho bule company e so?
Nna ke goletse in a country where just by looking at the different age groups, you can tell what sort of damage they've done to their skin, get skin lightening products, and for me that said, a need to come up with something that can address this concern that that clearly the cosmetic industry is ignoring.
Jwale akere di products tsa skin lightening di ngata hona le di products tsa hao hona le di products tse rekiswang ko strateng le dintho tse jwalo wena o ka tsho hore ke eng ntho e leng different ko tsa hao from tsona tseo?
Safety, like ke wena ke the ingredients re di sebedisang, we are very specific about the composition of dintho tse re di kenyang in the products. Re understand gore letlalo la gago it's an organ e phelang and e tlhoka gore if you treat that in any kind of a way, you must understand how it operates. Because, like I say, when I began the company, my observation had been, a lot of people you can categorize by age based on the kind of products that they used to damage their skin when they were attempting to lighten them. The older generation, their faces are damaged by the lead, mercury, which is sitting inside of their skin. The younger generation, people who are within mine and your generation, who are using steroid creams, and they have a flawless complexion for about a year, and then they start developing facial hairs.
Re lebohile haholo ne hore o kgone ho bua le rona ka jeno lena.
Thank you so much for coming.
Ha se moo he bagaeso re mona fela re fihlile ebile re thabile ke dutse le Dr. Graham Duncombe ye leng Dr. Moko Skin Body Brain Health Renewal o tlo re jwetsa ka di products tsena tsa skin lightening. Dr. Graham, what is the brightening IV infusion and how does it lighten one's skin?
Baie goeie vraag hier. Die eerste wat ons moet vir ons viewers absoluut helder maak is dat hierdie infusies nie 'n blyk tipe behandeling is van die vel. Dit is 'n behandeling wat jou vel terug na die normale ligte kleur kan terugbring. So ons gaan eerder dit die benaming van 'n skin brightening infusie gee as 'n skin lightening infusie. En dit maak gebruik van 'n baie sterk antioksidant bestanddeel, glutathione. Ongelukkig as 'n mens glutathione per mond inneem, is daar baie minder opname van daai glutathione molekule. So dis definitief baie meer doeltreffend om dit intraveneus in te spuit. 'n Mens kry baie hoë vlakke, baie meer doeltreffende effekte daarvan.
Would you then say that it's safe to use?
Baie goeie vraag. Nou dis veilig mits dit nou volgens baie streng wetlike toepassings gesekteer. Die belangrikste is dat dit deur 'n steriele laboratorium vervaardig word. Dit moet vir elke pasiënt spesifiek voorgeskryf word. Dit is 'n baie veilige prosedure om toe te dien, maar dit is baie belangrik dat 'n gekwalifiseerde dokter of miskien 'n suster dit toedien aan 'n pasiënt. Dit is nie veilig dat enige iemand dit aan 'n pasiënt kan toedien. Dit is definitief 'n baie sorgvuldige prosedure wat moet gevolg word.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for giving us valuable information on this trending treatment. Kamora dipapatso re kopana le Professor Nonhlanhla Khumalo. Re lo utlwa hore batho bana ba ile reng ba rata ho sebedisa di-products tsena tshwantse ba hlokomele eng pele ba reka di-products tsena. Jwale dula fela hona moo o seke wa shifta ka hore ra kgutla e se kgale.
Noma yipi product ethi skin lightening ayikho safe.
Jwale re lo kopana le Professor Nonhlanhla Khumalo ko Groote Hospital hore yena tla kgone go jwetsa bokotsi ba ho sebedisa di-products tsena tsa skin lightening. Ha se moo he bagaeso re mona fela re fihlile ebile re thabile ke dutse le Professor Nonhlanhla Khumalo ye leng Head of Dermatology mona UCT o tlo re hlalosetsa ka bokotsi ba di-cream tsena tsa skin lightening tse rekuswang. Sawubona Professor Njani? Ngiphilile besacela usichazele ngepercentage la eSouth Africa yala ma skin lightening products athengiswayo.
Ama skin lightening creams asetshenziswa abantu abaningi. Ngelishwa asinawo ama studies amakhulu abonisa the exact numbers. Kodwa ama studies akhona enziwe abonisa ukuthi mhlambe inamba yabantu in terms of a percentage can be as high as 30% yabantu abawoma. For ama South Africans abantu abawoma ikakhulu. Kodwa kubantu abavela ngaphandle kwamanye amazwe siyayithola ukuthi especially kwamanye amazwe lapha eAfrica siyayithola ukuthi nabantu abawuba bayawasebenzisa kakhulu.
Into engisifuna ukuyazi ukuthi kule survey ubuyiconductile ama results wakhona aphume athini ngeindaba zala ma skin lightening products adayiswayo eItradeni.
So into esiyenzile sahamba sathenga ama products kuma stations nase-Itradeni la eCape Town. Sawathatha sawasa elab ama product athengiswa as emarketwa as ama skin lightening products. sase siwatesta ke siwaxilonga la kule laboratory yethu sathola ukuthi ngaphakathi kuwona anama chemicals angavumelekanga ukuthi athengiswe kuma products okuthambisa isikhumba.
So ungasho ukuthi lama products lawa awekho emthethweni ukuthi adayiswe?
Cha, awekho semthethweni. So kukhona ama ingredients athile esiwaziyo ukuthi uhulumende usebeke umthetho ukuthi awuvumelekanga ukuthi abe kuma skin products. Eyodwa yawona i-hydroquinone. Hydroquinone ayifanelekanga ukuthi beku product ethengiswa over the counter. Ngilishwa ke kodwa akhona ngaphakathi. Kube khona nelinye futhi okuthiwa i-mercury. I-mercury yazi ukuthi yenza a lot of side effects angahlangana in fact even noku damage ingqondo nemizwa. Kodwa sithola ukuthi abantu bayakhona phakathi kulama products athengiswayo. Bese kuba khona namanye futhi ama products esiwabiza ukuthi ama steroids. So yilama group awuthathu. Ama steroids ke ama products ayasetshenziswa mangabe umuntu enesikhumba esilumayo o ama rash alumayo ke kuthiwa i-eczema. Ama products angafanele ukuthi asetshenziswe umuntu ongenankinga yesikhumba.
Into engifuna ukuyazi Prof Khumalo ukuthi ikhona mhlawumbe into eniyenzayo or uhulumeni o mhlawumbe khona abantu abacwayisa abantu abomphakathi abathanda ukuthenga lama cream ukuthi ayingozi kusikhumba sabo.
Uhulumende uyenzile into ukuthi athi okay lezi zinto azikho semthethweni, right? But abantu abafana ukuthi basebenze kuyo yonke lento baningi. So uhulumende on one side, abantu abathengisayo on the other side. Abantu abathengisayo bayawazi umthetho kodwa bayawuphula nonetheless. And the reason bewuphula is because bayazi ukuthi akukho routine testing yalama products. So that is what we need ke. And le lab into yenzileyo ukuthi is offerish facility manje sesinendawo lapho singatesta khona laba products, yabona? So that at least kube khona indawo lama products angatestwa khona kuthiwe lawa illegal bakwazi ukuxwayiswa abantu nohulumeni akwazi ukuthi alandele lama companies athengisa izinto ezingavumelekanga.
Khona abantu abaningi professor basibukile khona manje emakhaya abane interest ukuthi basebenzise lama products lawo kodwa bazi ukuthi yipe eyingozi neyipe elungile futhi. So wena ungasho ukuthi babuze niphi imibuzo ngaphambi kokuthi bathenge lama products?
So noma yipi product ethi skin lightening ayikho safe. And a lot of the times abantu basebenzisa lama products not ngoba befuna ubamhlophe kodwa ngoba mhlambe benamabala abafuna ukubasusa. Amabala ke ayakwazi ukususwa odokotela besikhumba. Umuntu ufana ukuthi athole treatment ngesikhathi esifaneleyo so that angabi nawo lamabala. Kufana neinduna. Induna uma ungazi treating ngokufanelekile ama pimples ngokusho enza ukuthi ube nama marks anga treateka. So sicela nje ukuthi abantu bayazi ukuthi ama dermatologist akhona awufundele umsebenzi wokulungisa izikhumba zenu musana ukudamage izikhumba zenu ngokuthenga lama products ama skin lightening products ngoba ni umuntu ugcine senamabala ngasasuki asemambi kakhulu.
Bonke kakhulu professor for isikhathi sakho nokuthi wazi ukukhuluma nathi namhlanje nokuthi uxwayise nabantu abasemakhaya ukuthi bayinakekele izikhumba zabo. Hasimo ke bagageso. Ke kholo re episode ya ka jeno lena ile botse matlo ha o tla go skin lightening. Jwale he rona re batla ho tseba hore lona le nahanang ka trend e ya skin lightening e ntse e hola ha dilemo di ntse di tsamaya mona setjhabeng sa rona sa South Africa. Ha re kopaneng ko Facebook le ko Twitter. Re tla ba kopana beke e tlang ka nako e itseng ene le ska lebala ga Mzansi. Ha re bueng.